Hello, welcome back to By Sword and Musket. Today we're going to have a look at the Transitional Revolver, something that really only appeared for a period of about 10 years between 1850 and 1860. It's somewhere between a pepper box and a conventional revolver, but things developed. The Victorians were very good at engineering, building, developing, and the same was true of their gun work. So once again, here we have a cased set. This is in the English style, basically in oak, English oak, with an engraved brass escutcheon on top with the owner's name, a J. Phillips. If we open up, here we have conventionally lined English oak case, compartmentalized with the revolver and all the items required to shoot it. Now let's just concentrate on the revolver now, because we've talked about all the bits and pieces before, but all the normal bits and pieces are actually in here. What's quite nice is that this was produced and sold by a Parker Field and Son of 233 Holborn Street, London, and that is reflected on everything that comes with the set. There's a trade label, Maker to His Majesty, the Honourable Artillery Company, etc. But let's look at the revolver per se. If you watched my previous video, we looked at a conventional pepper box weapon. This is the next stage up, where the chamber contains a loaded round and they have added a rifled barrel. This vastly improved accuracy, because now you're spinning the ball or the bullet, you're centralizing the force as it moves forwards. But what we have here is a particularly fine example of the transitional revolver. We have a conventional grip, pistol grip, trigger. We have a long spur hammer, which is slightly off center. This enables the shooter to view the sights down the center top of the pistol. This one has an engraved escutcheon, silver escutcheon, with a coat of arms or crest on top of that. Operation is by. You've got 6 chambers. Operation is by cocking the hammer to a next position. That enables the chambers to be rotated and loaded. Loading is done by pushing. This is spring loaded. It's quite nice. Spring loaded lever or ramrod, which has had its effort multiplied by pure geometry. Push the ball and the wad and the powder down and compress the load in the chamber individually, and then add a percussion cap to the nipple of each chamber. Once you're fully loaded in the firing position, pull back to full cock, pull the trigger, hammer falls on the percussion cap, causes the nipple to ignite the main charge, and the ball is sent off down the barrel at some speed, but this time spinning, as opposed to the pepper box, which was smooth bore. Now, the barrel is beautifully blued. As you can see, a lot of strong original bluing remaining. The chambers of the revolving cylinder are finished by case colour hardening. Trigger guard is blued. Once again, there's a compartment in the butt cap for keeping some of the components you require. Finely checkered grips. And the whole thing carries the serial number 10200. So that's there on the underside strap of the trigger guard. It is then repeated on the cylinder. We of course are looking for matching numbers on everything. Quite a nice little aspect of this is that once the caps have been fired, they tend to break up. There is a hole underneath to let them fall away so they do not foul in the rotation of the cylinder. So this is what we call single action. Pull back the hammer. It's ready to go. It's rotated the cylinder into position. Absolutely like clockwork, in exactly the right place. Pull the trigger, down it goes, bang. It's a beautiful pistol, beautifully finished. Strong engraving. Remember, all done by hand. Not talking about anything mass produced here. It's pure craftsmanship. Look at the timber to metal fit. Couldn't be better, really. All the way round. I hope you can see that clearly. There is nothing out of place on this pistol. This pistol carries all the points that we would look for in collecting. Everything matches. There's no obvious heavy refinishing. Case colour hardening is strong and original. You can't really fault it. It's Victorian engineering at its absolute best. It's a fine piece, well worth collecting. An antique, produced between 1850 and 1860. Still actually as good as the day it left the shop. The only wear, the only sign that it's been used is a slight loss of finish, a silvering along the lever. We can see the proof marks and viewing marks on the underside flat of the octagonal barrel. Clear engraving of the address, Parker Field and Son, 233 High Holborn. You can see the sighting, rear and front, fine round pin to the top of the sights. And a nice engraved escutcheon, worth further research. Find out if that matches Mr. Phillips. Strong bluing and engraving on the trigger guard and underneath. If you're collecting, this is the high end and a good example of a transitional revolver. Cased in its original case, showing all the usual wear marks associated with having this gun in it for a very long time. Accessories include bullet mould. What's quite nice about this bullet mould is it will produce both ball and bullet, of which there are some here. There's a pointed bullet, and a rounded ball. Bullet and ball. Fine piece with original oil bottle, powder flask, and the bullet mould is numbered to the gun. This has all the points that you would be looking for in a serious collecting world. Well worth investigating this sort of thing if you want to build up a financially stable collection, or if you just want to enjoy something that was produced all those years ago and has been kept, looked after, cherished for all those years. I hope you enjoyed looking at that. Come back another time and see what else I consider worth collecting. Thanks, bye-bye. Return to buy sword and musket anytime you like.